Well, hello, friends. Pastor Roberto Bruno here, pastor of the Central Apostolic Church, saying I'm so glad to be here, and I hope you're glad that you made it to Friday as well, right? Another day of life. As long as we have life, we have hope, right? And if we're hoping in the Lord, then that means there is nothing that is impossible that can happen to us. Yeah, the Lord has been on the throne, he has never left, and I am a witness that dreams come true because the King makes it so. So I just want to encourage you to rejoice. Rejoice that you have this day of life. Now you might be tired, fatigued, a lot of stuff going on, had a challenging week. I hear you. I hear you. But that does not deviate from the fact that God has given us another day of life, that we can serve him and love him, despite whatever's going on. Now, I don't know if you have read the book of Job as of lately. It is quite the piece of literature and not necessarily the quick read if you're like a slow reader like I am. But lots of people know the story of Job, at least the first chapter or so. The enemy comes, talks to him, says, like, if you give me a chance, God, to get this guy, he's going to, cuss you. He's going to leave you. And sure enough, the enemy, or really if you are a scholar, our English version says Satan. In the Hebrew, it's the Satan. Ooh, Mufasa. And so, Job gets a lot of things stripped from him, a lot of horrible stuff that would have probably derailed me. I don't know about you, his livelihood, his children, things destroyed, a lot of bad stuff. I would have been derailed quick. I'm just being truthful. But no, not Job. He stays the course, and the Satan goes back to God and says, hey, let me touch him. Let me touch his body. And so that what happens, and he gets really sick with all these bumps that hurt and is gross and painful and all of this stuff. And so he's going through all of these things, and he begins to plead his case. It's a great back and forth just dialogue with God and Job and his friends and their advice. Incredible. Now, I'm saying all that as Job is coming to the realization of what has happened. He says in chapter 13 and verse 5, he says a lot, but he says, though he slay me, yet I will trust in him. Now, that always blew my mind, especially when I had some dark seasons of going through the valley of the shadow of death, where I'm just like, what? Because here Job is saying he has all these things. He goes, look at it. If God is going to kill me, if he chooses to kill me, I'm still going to trust him, So after a while, I really realized in my own life, but here in Job, he says, look, if God is everything to us and we're suffering, and, a lot of times we think God's causing that, and that's another story, because it's not, it's just life. But here, Job had made a decision in his life. Look at, even if God slays me, I'm going to trust him. Even if I lose everything, and, if you read it, it sounds like he lost everything. Even if he lost his life, lost his friends, lost all of these things, He was going to trust God. He was going to trust God. I just think that's a lot of things. It's noble. It's just having a real faith in God. As the book of Job unfolds, as we near the end of it, God makes it clear that Job didn't really understand or quite understand who he was, as he basically God describes himself. So to me, it makes it not that I'm trying to be impressed by Job, but it's even impressive because we could say even Job in his ignorance, that might be a lot, he still chooses to trust God. He still chose to serve him. He still chose to go forward. Now, beloved, I'm saying all of this because, like I said, probably one of those things that happened to Job would have just derailed me, and who knows, I'd probably start drinking Jack Daniels and smoking weed again. Okay, I'm exaggerating. But in truth, sometimes it's the smallest thing that can derail us. And we question God, and sometimes I wonder if God questions us. Like, hey man, this is just a part of life. You're trying to make it my fault when it's just life. Instead of blaming me, why don't you trust me? Am I right or am I right? It's true, we've all been in those situations where I'm darn near cussing God, shaking my fist. Lord, don't talk to me. You did this to me. Ridiculous. God will take a bad situation or a hard situation or a challenging situation and turn it for good, but he won't cause it then to just flip it and say, look how good I am. No. And again, I think a lot of us can testify that we were in situations that we thought it was the end, right? We thought no escape, no solution, none of that. And God turned it, or he matured us, or he strengthened us, or we refocused and saw him in it. I'm just trying to encourage you. I'm trying to encourage you because we could be down all the time. We could be carrying baggage for 10 years. The person who cussed us, the pastor who wasn't, pastor who said bad things to me, a dysfunctional family, church, whatever. I don't minimize none of that. But my goodness, where does our relationship lie in God? Is he just a cosmic Santa Claus? Is he just a genie in a bottle? Or is he our Father, that we love him and trust him? In all circumstances, in quiet times, in loud times, in dark times, in light times, and in times of plenty, and in times of famine. Because God doesn't change. We're the ones that should change by trusting and believing in him. My beloved, you can do it. And if you're struggling and feel like you're a failure or you want to quit right now, I rebuke that spirit, because that's not our Father who makes us feel that way. We could say, oh, God's guilting me. I feel, condemned or convicted. Beloved, let's trust God. Just like Job did when he didn't quite understand, but understood enough that even in his death, he could trust God. He's with you. You can do it. There's brethren there that could surround you, but more so, cry out to the King. He will hear you. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend in Jesus' name. God bless you.